Hi, YouTube people. This is Dr. Bethann Kapansky-Wright, and I have a free e-course I wanted to tell you about. We're going into the new year, so this just seemed like a really good time to share, because if you're looking for a space to do some like soul care and self-care and a little bit of work on yourself, then this could potentially be a really great space for you. The course is called This World Needs Your Heart, and it's all about heart-based living and listening to the language of the heart and reflecting on your own heart process, and like, what does it mean to trust your heart, and what does it mean to follow your heart path, and how is the brain different when we're doing that? We use the right brain when we do that more than we do the left brain. So it's really more about right brain living. So this course taps into all of that through videos, journaling questions, creative prompts, choose your own adventure activities they were super fun to come up with. It's inspirational. It's affirmational. It is intended to, make you reflect, make you think, tap deeper into your own heart wisdom, look at what does it mean to be in radical self-belief, and how do we overcome self-doubt, and how do we overcome sort of wanting to know how it's going to look and realizing that if you're on a heart-based journey, you're probably not going to know how it's going to look until you get there. So like, all of that information is woven in, and I felt inspired to create this particular course because everything beautiful in my life has come from being on a heart-based journey. And I really began that journey in 2011. That was a time in my life where I would say I went through a breaking to awaken, and I went through a deconstruction of self. And when I reconstructed myself, my life looked radically different, and I looked radically different. I was holding a lot more space for love to come into me, and I really started working with the energy of love more during that time in my life. I just wasn't aware. Prior to that, I had a much more limited idea on what love was and what heart-based living was about. And I was really ready for a bigger way of being after I had gone through everything. And I started to really follow this sort of invisible pull inside of me that has been leading me really all these years and pulling me into something new. And it took me into, all sorts of adventures and lessons in Alaska. And it took me through a grief journey after I lost my brother, and really allowed me to go through that with a lot of heart courage and vulnerability. And it took me out of Alaska and moved me to the island of Kauai in 2017, where I really started over, and I have been releasing my identity as a clinical psychologist. I'm about to release like the very last bit of my practice in the new year, and really step into a bigger role as a intuitive healer. And I would identify more now as a transpersonal psychologist, spirituality and psychology. And I've really been sort of unifying those and looking at how do I work with individuals in a more soul-based way, and how do I create courses. I started a school that's heart-based, and it's about heart wisdom and soul care. So those pieces are, I guess that's where I'm at now. I'm still in this journey, so we'll see what happens in 2019. But it just seemed like a really natural thing for me to teach when I thought about, I want to create a free course, like out of all the possible topics, what should it be? It was like, well, teach heart-based living, because that's the journey you've been on, and that's what I feel called to teach. I feel called to use my experiences and sort of transmute those even further into materials to help other people better understand, what does the language of the heart look like, and what does the invisible path of the soul look like? Because nobody told me, and I didn't know. And like, I would be really drawn to quotes by Rumi and Hafiz and Osho and, sort of these ancient mystics who seem to get it. But, outside of that, I had to pull in sort of these archaic materials to try and really understand what was happening with the real changes, the real soul changes going on inside of me. And I sort of had to like piecemeal it together and create my own map and create my own vocabulary. And I think that's just part of the process. But I wanted to turn around and in one space kind of create a larger vocabulary or a how-to. Like I would go back if I could and give myself this course. She would have, my younger self, she would have eaten it up with a spoon and sugar and cherries on top, because this is what I needed at that time in my life. Nobody told me that we break to awaken, or that the mess, like the more messy our life is and the more it feels like it's disintegrating or falling apart, that often that's how life is creating more space to bring more knowledge and to bring more healing and to bring more light into us. Nobody told me what an uncontrolled environment life was, and that I was going to have to learn to yield to it and to learn to love not knowing. I don't know if I love not knowing, but I learned to accept that I spend more time not knowing how it's going to look than I do knowing. So I'm getting used to not knowing, and just trusting, and nobody told me the amount of trust and just receptivity and tapping into my intuition and growth that I was going to have. So I wanted to create a space to start teaching all of that, and a space where, you can't really teach that in a concrete way, but a space to share ideas and perspectives and to bring in like psychological wisdom and spiritual wisdom and the creative process, and then my own personal lessons, and really take those ingredients and like create materials out of them, create, sort of questions and ideas and activities and ways that you can take those ingredients and find those answers for yourself. So if you would like to sign up, you can go to www.bethannekw.com, and that is BETHANNEKW.com. And right at the top of the page, it says, "Take my free course, This World Needs Your Heart." And just click the link. I do all my stuff through Teachable. So all you have to do to register, I think, is create like a username and a password. And then you have access to the material for forever. It's self-paced, it's self-study, and it is a really cool tool if you are wanting to do something good for yourself right now and wanting a space for soul care and self-love and soul nourishment, and maybe like a good energetic brushing off some of the grit and dust that we've accumulated this year as you're going into 2019. So thanks so much for watching this video, and if you feel inspired to sign up, I would be delighted if you would join, and have a wonderful rest of your holiday season, and happy solstice, everybody. This is my favorite day of the year, so I thought it was a good day to share the course. All right, blessed be.